Hey, how you getting on? It's your man with the head, and this is an Eminence Legend V12 8, and it sounds like this. I believe the Legend is an older series of speakers by Eminence. There are several different ones. This is a V12 8, which is the 8 ohm version of the V12. There's a V12 16 as well, which is the 16 ohm version. But there's a few others like the Legend GB. GB and V. I wonder what those letters could be alluding to. Anyway, I think these speakers might be one of those speakers that are underrated. I don't see an awful lot of people talking about these, and I think they were the stock speakers and some older Soldano cabs, and a few other manufacturers had them as their OEM speakers as well. And I believe these predate some of the newer designs like the Governor. And today I want to find out if the Legend deserves its name. And I'm going to do that the usual way I test speakers. The Legend is going in this corner of my Marshall 1960 AV next to me, next to a Celestion Vintage 30 from the year 2024, nice and smooth between 5 and 6K. A bit like the early 2000s V30s, and I'm going to mic both of them up with Shure SM57s, then play a few riffs to some of the amps behind me, and switch back and forth between the mics in editing so you get an apples to apples comparison. I mic them both up in the same relative positions at first. The V30, where the dust cap meets the comb, that's the sweet spot on the V30, at least in my opinion. And the speaker I demo gets mic'd up in the same relative position at first. However, if I think the speaker I'm demoing has a different sweet spot, I move the microphone to that position later in the video. But for the Legend, I think it has the same sweet spot as the V30. So we're just going to have one mic position for each speaker. And to further help you assess if the Legend is a speaker for you, I'm going to provide you with some free IRs for you to download. One for the V30 and one for the Legend. And if you like those free IRs, you might want to consider becoming a patron of mine. That's where I upload IR packs for all the speakers I demo. Memberships start at $5 and you get access to all the IR packs I've made. So if you like my IRs, that's probably a good deal. After the playthrough, I'm going to reamp a riff through my EVH 5153 with both speakers in 1x12s using an Austrian Audio OC818 to record some room sounds just so you get impressions of how the speakers sound in the room as well. I need to put the speaker in, then I'm going to fire up the amps and I'll meet you back for the playthrough and some final thoughts at the end. The amps I'll be using today are my model Soldano SL60 Super Lead 60 Series 2. I thought that was a fitting choice because the old stock speakers and Soldano cabs were legends. The Hughes & Kettner Triumph Mark III, that amp's been discontinued, by the way. I just made a video on that. There'll be links in the description and the pinned comments to that because that amp's going away. My Marshall JVM 410 HJS, the Joe Satriani signature JVM. I always have trouble saying that amp's name. And my Diesel VH4. Let's go. So that's the Eminence Legend V12 view. What did you think of that speaker? Tell me in the comments down below. And in my opinion, which in the grand scheme of things is completely irrelevant, the deciding factor for you should be your ears, of course. But in my opinion, it's a very pleasant sounding speaker. It's one of the nicer sounding Eminences I had on the channel, in my opinion, once again. I prefer it to the Eminence Governor, for example, because frequency response wise, it was closer to one of those nice sounding V30s, especially in the, what's the frequency band called again? The presence frequency band. It was very close to my V30. It dipped out between 3 and 4K, leaving some room there. And it pops up a bit in the brilliance area, but if that's unpleasant to you, that's pretty easy to carve out, I'd imagine. So yeah, I like it. I think the Legend V12 is pretty underrated and can't really explain why. So yeah, what did you think of it? Try out the free IRs if you have the means, and if you like those, you might want to become a Patreon of mine. There's affiliate links down in the comments below, and in the pinned comment, and in the description below. I'm getting my wires crossed already. It's time for me to get to bed. But if you use those, that's great help. Buy used if you can, but if you can't avoid buying new, use my affiliate links. That helps a lot. I really need to end now. Follow me. I'm delusional. Bye-bye.